Good evening. This is episode 6 of Matt and Stephen Uncensored. I'm Matt,
I'm Steph.
and this week we're talking about
Ghosts.
ghosts. So, episode 6,
We begin.
we begin.
We've gone for an eerie vibe tonight.
We have. We've got the lights down low. Let's get to take my glasses off.
Borderline romantic.
We've just had light shining out of our cocks.
Yeah, watch the intro again, you'll see.
Yeah.
It's like
Once
gold
you've se-
member.
Once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. Matt and Steph have shiny cocks. Oh, we do polish them.
Absolutely, especially if you just crack it open and yeah.
We've migrated for the winter.
We have, indoors.
We've
Well, we were indoors
migrated.
before.
Yeah, we were indoors before. We've left the school corridor.
Yeah, I missed that.
We're now in my kitchen between the fridge and the arcade machine.
Yeah, bit of Pac-Man in the background.
Pac-Man. Yeah, because it's got ghosts on it. You see? We don't just cobble this thing together.
I think that was cobbled, to be
No,
honest.
it wasn't.
There's
I
no
thought
way
that.
you intentionally
I
did
did.
that. Did you really?
Yeah.
I'll take my
Potentially.
hat off to you.
Thank you very much. I'll take mine off,
That
but
was-
I haven't got one.
That's a good little touch. Must have been.
Yeah.
Clever.
There you go. So yeah.
What do you think then?
Do you believe in ghosts?
I don't know. Considering the experiences I've had,
That's what I was going to say. I know you've had some experiences in the past with ghosts.
yeah, not pleasant either.
No.
But then you have as well, not you personally, I don't know if you have personally, but I know you've told me a couple of stories that were a bit weird. I think you mentioned it last week in that beach area.
Yeah.
Well, they thought it was an angel.
Yeah. Angels. But I reckon there's ghosts here.
Do you reckon?
Yep.
And they can interact? Or are we talking that's poltergeist sort of thing?
No. Nothing like that. But if anybody ever comes around with a dog, the dog always sits at the bottom of the stairs barking up the stairs.
Could have told me that before I went for a pee.
I'd
I'd have gone in the garden.
The ghost's just been looking at you winky while you're in the toilet.
Yeah, the door was open as well.
Oh, no. Yeah, so that happens. And then there's someone in my circle of friends who do tarot cards and is a bit of a medium. And she was doing my tarot cards and she just turned around to me and said, "Can I ask you a question?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Have you ever lost a child?" And I said, "Yeah."
That's news
and
to
she
me.
goes, "Yeah." Well, I say, "You learned something new about me every day."
Okay.
And she goes, "Would it be about 12, 13 years ago? Because it looks about 12, 13 years old." I said, "Yeah." She goes, "There's a little girl sat next to you. And she's looking up at you as if she's looking at her dad." He says, "And she looks quite mischievous." And I said, "Yeah, there is odd things happen around the house." So she reckons this little girl's following me around. But that's probably who the dogs are barking at.
Do you know, it's weird because I've always thought when I've come here, every single time that I go to the toilet, I've never mentioned it before because I've always said
I know what you're going to say.
it's just a bit weird that I can pick up on this sort of stuff, but
Yeah.
there's always been a vibe on the top of the landing. I wouldn't say the top of the stairs as such,
Yeah.
but whenever I cross your landing,
Yeah.
there's always a vibe. I can't say who it is or what it is or
Yeah.
anything like that. It's just an eerie vibe on the landing.
If I need a piss in the night, I will hold it in. I'm hoping after this episode that I'm not just going to not want to be on my own in the dark for 3 weeks. So,
but do you really believe that ghosts are actually deceased people? Or do you think, like some cases, a lot of religions believe that if there's a ghost as such, that it's actually a demon pretending to be somebody that you know to get access?
I don't know.
I've heard this quite a lot. So, for example, like the film The Exorcist, that was based on true events. although it wasn't a little girl, it was a little boy.
Right.
And his auntie taught him how to use an Ouija board when they were
Mm.
kids. Because back in the day, you could buy Ouija boards at Toys R Us, I think it was,
Mm.
because it was just classed as a board game. So this little boy's auntie would play the Ouija board with him, but always said to him, "Don't play with it on your own.
Yeah.
You always have to play with somebody. You always say hello and you always say goodbye." But then his auntie passed away. So the little boy wanted to connect with his auntie again and said, "Right, well, I'll just get the Ouija board out again
Yeah.
and I'll see if she's here." And she responded. So he got a little bit obsessed with this Ouija board and was constantly talking essentially to his auntie.
Yeah.
But what it actually turned out to be was a demon pretending to be his auntie to get
Yeah.
into the house or his body or whatever it is for him
Right.
to end up being possessed. But yeah, if you look into the Exorcist story, it's based on true events.
I didn't know that was based on true events.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there wasn't the whole head spinning round and all that sort of stuff.
Floating off the bed.
But the whole possessed, and apparently the boy's, I don't know if he's still alive now, I might have read somewhere, but he's had to change his name and everything,
Yeah. Wow.
which is mental.
So the demon can't find him.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Or people like me and you, like, can we have an interview?
Oh yeah. I'd love to interview someone. But the thing is, right? I know people who have said to me, "I've seen ghosts." On more than one occasion, there's one walks through the bedroom every night. We know who he is. He's someone that my brother played with at school, and he died. And they're not the type of people to lie about it. But several family members have said, "Yeah, it's true." The parents have said, "Yeah, it's true." He walks through the house.
See, I've never actually seen a ghost.
No.
I've seen things happen.
Yeah.
So things being thrown across the room,
Yeah.
TV turning on and off. Okay, that might be an electrical fault. Let's give that benefit of doubt. I'm a plumber, so one of the things that happened, I know is not an issue, like plumbing issue, but it happened twice actually. Once when I was a kid, because I've always had something following me around since I was about 6.
Yeah.
Which is weird because if you look at a lot of demon films where the kids are possessed or whatever, it always starts around the age of 6. So it was always a bit of an eerie one for me.
Yeah.
But I think it was about 6, something like that. But I remember lying in my bunk bed on the bottom bunk, and we lived in this house that had like a round landing, and on the top of the landing there was like obviously a room that went off of it like a circle, and almost just slightly off to the right, so directly opposite was my dad's bedroom, and then just to the right was the main bathroom. And I remember must have been about 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, witching hour, and I just couldn't sleep for some reason. I was just one of those nights, you just can't switch off, ADHD kicking in. So I was just staring out onto the landing, just daydreaming as you do. And I remember seeing the bathroom light turn on. And I was like, who on earth is that at this time of night? So I poked my head out my bedroom door, because obviously the door's open, so I poked my head out. No one there. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? Maybe it was just dodgy lights. So I carried on looking, thinking, maybe someone, because the way the bathroom was laid out, the bath was to the right, behind like a partition wall, so you couldn't really see in the bath. So I was looking around, and I thought, is someone like sleepwalking, and they're just sort of like lying in the bath or something, like something weird? And then all of a sudden, while I'm watching, the toilet flushes, and the light clicks off. And as a kid, that is terrifying. I remember.
Did you tell anyone?
Not at the time, not when I was a kid, no. I suppose back then, you're a kid though, aren't you? No one's going to believe you. Oh, you're probably just dreaming. Especially my parents. Like my dad, for years, even when I got older, when stuff really started happening to me,
Didn't believe you.
didn't believe me until I rocked up at his work one day and said, "We need to have a chat." And he took me out into like a little kitchen area that he had at the office.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting there saying, "I'm not mucking about. Something's going on in my house because it's physically doing stuff to me." Not like that. But it's physically doing stuff, even around the house. We'll get more into what happened anyway, but just the colour in my dad's face just suddenly draining away, as in like, oh shit, he's not lying. Yeah, it's terrifying, mate. But I've got to admit now, after I've been through all of that, I can watch horror films and demon films and possessed films, ghost films, and just not bat an eyelid, because I think when you've dealt with it in real life, it's a bit like, it's not half as scary. It's only on TV.
Mm.
But I've never physically seen anything. I've never seen a person.
No, it takes quite a lot of energy to become an apparition,
That's
doesn't it?
what I heard.
But
Yeah.
I would
So
have
why would
thought
you
it
waste
took.
that?
Yeah,
why would you waste it?
that?
Going,
Flush it in the toilet.
hello, I'm here to walk through a wall and do nothing. What would be the point of wasting all that energy?
Don't know.
That's not going to know until we die, I guess.
I don't think they know they're doing it, do they?
But if it uses a lot of energy, they must be going, that walk across the land has knackered me. They must know.
Mm.
Which is why I think it's more of something that's playing tricks.
So where my workshop was in an old hosiery factory, and we were going to do a ghost walk there, like a sleepover, and it got cancelled. It was bloody freezing. It was like minus 20, so it was no wonder. But the landlord of the property, shout out Carl, he has seen things there and he's spoken to them. They've walked through the wall into the canteen and he said, "What do you want?" And they've just turned and walked back through the wall. And people who live across the road say they see people in the windows, and at night they've seen people walking across the loading bay and stuff. There's nobody there.
That's mad.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that though.
Yeah, well, maybe we should go and do it. Film it.
I think we should.
Film it for the pod.
We've already got somebody who's willing to do the recording for us, haven't we? So
yeah.
We'll bring them along.
After about an hour, there'll just be him there with a camera, and we'd have legged it. We legged it. We were like, "Fuck this, I'm off." Yeah.
I'd love to see that.
I would, but how do you think you'd react if you actually saw something? Because I'd shit myself, and then I definitely wouldn't want to be on my own for a while.
I don't know. I think if I'd have seen something, like for example someone walking across the loading bay, I don't think I'd have properly cacked myself until I've gone and investigated. I'm that idiot that gets killed in the movies.
Yeah.
That hears something or sees something and goes to investigate.
It's not like a person walking across. It's obvious it's not a living thing walking.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So what is it, like floating or something?
Yeah. Or like half a body.
I'd have to go and investigate that.
Or something.
Just in case there's something. Because I like to...
There's something there. When I had my business there, as you all know, I did a lot of hours.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'd be there till 11 o'clock at night, midnight. And it had communal toilets. And you had to walk all the way down this long corridor, and the lights just come on automatically.
And it was always a bit dingy in the toilets as well anyway.
Fucking hell. Fucking hell. That time of night, you get in the cubicle, you lock the door, you sit down and turn around so you can see if anything's coming through the fucking door. It is that terrifying. God. But there's definitely stuff there, and there's children there as well.
They freak me out.
Because back in the day, the hosiery factory would have had children working there. But there is a group in Satka, one of my customers, called SAPS, and they do paranormal investigations. And there's been whole groups of them who've seen things like bodies walking across fields and stuff, and they've walked right up to them and more or less had a conversation.
And they're recording
like, yeah, and they're like, "Oh my god, we're gonna have all this on camera, and full batteries have just been instantly flattened, and none of it's recorded. They've got some photographs where at the end of the evening they were all stood in front of the campfire and took a photograph, and you can very, very clearly see faces in the flames. Very clearly.
So that's, to me, is not a ghost. No way. Why would a ghost... Because like you said a minute ago, most of the time they don't realise they're doing it.
Yeah.
A ghost will not, intentionally... What's the word? Apparate? Not appear?
Yeah.
And then have the energy as well to kill the battery in your technology.
Mm.
I'm not convinced. That's poltergeist / the demon. It's got to be.
So
I
was working at his house, and
whose house?
This customer.
Oh, I thought it was his house then. I was like, whose house?
It runs this group, and they've got a big shed in the garden. That's like their headquarters, if you like. And we were just chatting in the garden, and all of a sudden this music starts blaring out of the shed, and he went, "Oh." So we went into the shed, and he turned this stereo off, and I was like, "Who's turned that on?" And he goes, "Oh, it's these dolls."
What?
Yeah.
That freaked me out.
He'd been given these dolls to pass on to the Paranormal Society in Hinckley and put them in the museum. because of COVID, he hadn't been able to hand them over.
God.
So he had them in the lounge, but his missus got fed up of walking in the lounge, and they'd all moved positions and they were messing about with the telly and stuff. So she said, they need to go in your headquarters. So he put me in there, and they keep turning the music on.
Oh my God. Well, funny you say that,
But
actually.
if
Go
we
on.
want to go on a ghost hunt, they're the people to go with, because they've got all the EVP recorders, all this, that, and the other. And they're the ones that went into that church and did loads of video and recording, and were really disappointed that they hadn't seen anything. But then when they played the videos back and they walked into where the Sunday school was, they could hear kids really clearly going, "Shh, they're coming, quick, hide," like this.
Oh my God.
And when they were stood looking at the altar and that, and he was talking and saying, if there's anybody there, this, that, the other, heard nothing. When they played it back, there was a voice that said, "Don't turn round," like this. And he's just, some of the stories are just,
Which, again,
brilliant.
stuff like that doesn't make sense to me. If you can hear it on the audio after you've recorded it,
Yeah.
and the voice is saying, "Don't turn around," you can't hear that at the time.
No.
So that warning was pretty useless.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Just stuff like that I
So-
just find really weird. Like, what are you actually trying to gain from
Because
saying
it's,
something like
it's
that?
electronic noise, isn't it? I did a ghost hunt in just outside Skegness, Burlemarsh. It was a really haunted house. And they reckon that this fireplace and the mirror above it in the kitchen is a portal to another world. So it's really, really haunted, apparently. And they brought out this box. It's like, it's called Lola's box or something like that. And it's basically, this guy was so obsessed with being able to communicate with his deceased daughter that he created this electronic box, and
I feel like I've heard that.
it picks up on the electromagnetic sounds, EMV or whatever it is, but rather than playing the sound back, it converts it into words on the screen. So we were all in
God.
there, and they said, "Oh, does anyone want to say anything?" There was a group of us there, and this guy, I can't remember his name, just say he was called Jason. He was prattling about and going, "Oh, there's no ghosts out there, this, that, and the other." And on the screen, it came up with "Get out, Jason." On the screen, yeah.
What?
No.
Oh my God.
And there was a lot of things happened, and I was like, and Laura came with me on that, and they said, "Oh, if you want to, you can sleep over for the night. You can stay in the house overnight." So
No,
no
thanks.
thanks. I was scared enough in the hotel when we got back. But there's these two girls that travelled from like Peterborough or somewhere, and they hadn't booked a hotel or anything. They were the only two staying overnight.
Oh my
And I
God.
felt
That's
really
even worse.
felt really bad for them.
That's even worse because they're
Yeah.
like the only two.
Yeah,
I mean, fair play to them
But-
if they're willing to do that. That's not for me.
yeah.
It's worse when you actually experience it. This is what I mean. I think because once you've experienced stuff, you can watch the films and.
What sort of
series or
stuff
whatever.
happened to you then when you?
How far back do you want to go? So when I was a kid, obviously memory's a little bit intermittent because obviously when you're a kid, memory's always a bit pixelated. But the earliest memory is that one with the toilet on the landing. And then I remember my sister moving out, and then I had her room, so my brother had his own room. So my parents bought me this high sleeper bed. So it had like a bed on top, and then underneath it had, I think it was 2 cupboards, set of drawers, and then like a pull-out desk. And then if you pulled the desk out all the way, you could go underneath your bed. It was like a little cave. It was wicked. Clearly I was traumatised as a child. So the next time I remember lying in the bed and don't know why, just had this weird sensation, this feeling like something's here. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you what it was, who it was, nothing. Just something's here with me. And as a kid, because I used to be scared of the dark, I used to have the door slightly ajar. My bedroom door, landing light would always be on. And then I just remember a shadow walking past the door. Again, me being me, go and investigate because I'm inquisitive. So I open the door quickly. No one there. So I'm looking down the stairs. Nothing. I go downstairs. And I'm like, has someone been upstairs? And obviously, my family are like, just go to bed. It's your bedtime. I was like, but has anyone just come from upstairs? No, we're all down here. None of us have been upstairs. Obviously, I didn't say anything, but at the time I'm walking back to bed like, oh my God. Then there's been several occasions, again in the same bedroom that I was in, where I had a little TV in the corner of the room back in the day when it used to be about 32 inches deep.
Deeper than the way it was.
Yeah. and had this little square remote, black, with like really crappy buttons on it to change the channel and stuff. And every night I couldn't tell you how long it went on for, but it was consistent. Every night I'd wake up in the middle of the night and it was static,
I have that.
which is weird because I don't have the TV on.
Yep.
I used to get told to turn it off when I used to go to bed, so
Mine is switched off at the wall now because every night it used to come on.
static.
And I was like, have I set a timer for it to come
Yeah,
on?
I thought the same thing, but back in the day, I don't even know how to do that.
No.
So I thought that was weird anyway. And then I do remember once coming downstairs saying I'm scared to my stepmom at the time. And I remember saying that I'm really scared. Something's going on. I'm just really scared. And my sister had come over to visit, and she's like, "Oh, just stay down here with us." And my stepmom's like, "No, it's bedtime. You're going to bed." And I'm literally like
terrified,
wetting myself. I'm terrified. So my sister was like, "Come on, I'll take you up to bed. I'll sit with you for a bit." So she came up, put me back into bed, and basically like chilled with me basically until I fell asleep, which was cool. And then another time, I was a bit older. I can't remember how old I was. I think I spent a lot of time at my grandparents' house anyway, but it was at some point, again, same bedroom, same bed. I remember I was a bit older, and I was lying flat on my bed, same high sleeper. I think I was reading a book or something, or playing on a Game Boy, good old days.
Game Boy.
And something just whacked me in the back, and I was like, "The hell was that?" Thinking, "Oh, was it one of the springs in the mattress or something?" But the mattress had moved up, not levitated, but just something knocked me from underneath. And I was like, "What the hell?" Again, being inquisitive. I look back now, I just think, you're absolutely nutcase. I'd never go and check that now.
Yeah.
I probably would, to be fair, but a lot of people wouldn't. So I pulled the desk thing out, went underneath my bed, pitch black, nothing there. So I'm thinking, what on earth is going on? And then, to be fair, I don't really remember much after that. And then it only really started to get worse when I was with my ex-wife. Initially, we thought it was the house. But according to these ghost hunters or whatever you like to call them, I can't remember what they're called, but paranormal investigators, they said it was me. So it doesn't matter if we move house, it's just going to follow me. So I was a bit like, what the hell is this? But in the meantime, I'd bumped into a few people who I used to work with, and even when I was an estate agent, they'd say, there was one of the tenants that I looked after said, how did she word it? Something that she started off with like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah," because we're doing like a property check basically. You do them every sort of 3 or 6 months or 12 months. Just make sure the tenant's okay, make sure they're not trashing the house. And she says, "Are you okay?" And I says, "Yeah, why?" She goes, "I don't want to weird you out or anything." She says, "But you've got a very dark mass." Now, in my mind, I'm thinking, cancer.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think anything else of it at the time. And she's like, "No, so basically we believe in sort of energy and dark entities, light entities and stuff like that." And she goes, "We can see quite a really dark mass inside of you though, but it's not you." And I'm thinking, this woman's tapped. Again, didn't think anything of it. I was like, "Oh, okay." And she was like, "Oh, you need to get these crystals." And I thought, "Oh, you're just trying to sell me some shit." But she's like, "No, honestly, don't want any money, just take these crystals with you, just keep them around you." And obviously at the time I'm thinking, she's off her nut. So I just sort of put them to one side. I didn't bin them, but I just put them to one side. I didn't think anything of it. And then someone else said something similar about some sort of dark mass. And again, I was just like, that's twice now.
Yeah.
And I've got to admit, I've always felt like there is... We've all got light and dark inside of us, but sometimes I do feel like I'm fighting to keep a darkness at bay. It's a bit weird, I know it sounds a bit over the top, but I've had that for a very long time. And then obviously when I got married to my ex, we moved into a house in Hinckley, and that was when it first started getting really active. So initially it started with the TV channel changing. And again, when it comes to electronics, I try to be sceptical on everything. Because everyone's going to call you a nut anyway. So I just think, right, I'm sceptical on anything. Any bumps in the night, any sort of like weird noises, could be pipe work in the walls, could be floorboards just creaking or something just popping back into place, because if it's wood, it's hot or cold, it expands, it retracts. So always try and be skeptical. And then we lived in a terraced house, so you walk straight into the living room. And then as you walk through the living room, we had like a little section before you got to the dining room. So it was like under the stairs.
Yeah.
Well, the left-hand side of that was set just slightly further back, just enough to put the fridge freezer there. So we were like, oh, buzzing. Fridge freezer can go in there.
Yeah.
And we'd keep all of our letters and paperwork on top that we'd got.
Yeah.
So TV channels are changing. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And then for some reason, we were watching something one night, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we had a stack of paperwork on top of the fridge freezer, all letters and just documents, whatever. Just went flying across the fucking room. And I was like, what? You know, because it like makes you jump. You think like a party popper's gone off.
Yeah.
And it just sprayed everywhere. I was like, what the hell was that? So obviously my ex is like, what is going on? Like the TV channels keep changing, paperwork's going flying. And I was like, maybe there's a breeze somewhere. I don't know. That's just weird. But I just try and reason it.
Yeah.
So I pick up all the stuff, put it away. Didn't think anything of it. Then it wouldn't have been the same night. It would have been sort of further down the line. But again, watching telly, and then again in that house, you sit in the living room, got a little section bit where the fridge freezer was. Then we've got a kitchen.
Yeah.
And at the back was a downstairs bathroom. So we're sat on the sofa, and you can see straight down to the bathroom where the sofa is.
Yeah.
We're sat on the sofa watching telly, and hear a ding, bathroom lights come on.
Yeah.
And we've both just sort of looked over at the bathroom, toilet flushed, light turned off. So I'm like, that's twice now that this has happened in my life.
Yeah.
Someone needs the toilet around me, clearly. Like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
So at the time, I wasn't really much into plumbing. So in my head, I'm thinking, maybe it's just a faulty toilet.
Right.
I'm trying to reason everything. But then it gets worse.
Go on.
So I'm trying to think in what order this went now. So one of the nights we went to bed, and I remember waking up, and my leg was in the air, and I was being pulled out of bed. And as soon as I sort of came to, because I fucking hit the floor, my leg was in the air, it let go of my leg. Like, I could feel it let go. But I can't see anything. That's what's terrifying.
Were you on your own?
No, Tanya was asleep next to me. Oh, said I.
No, that's right.
She was in the bed next to me asleep. So I, again, didn't think anything. Well, I thought a lot of it, but I tried to put it to the back of my mind, just get back into bed. Tried to go to sleep. Managed to get back to sleep. Woke up the next morning, and I've got a big scratch down the side of my leg. So I'm like, something scratched me in the night as well, because that wasn't there when I fell on the floor. I'd have known, because it was bleeding. So I mentioned it obviously to my ex, and she's like, something's not right, something's going on in this house. This is really weird. So I go to work, try and carry on as normal, get a phone call. She's been pushed down the stairs, carrying her daughter down the stairs. She says, I was walking down the stairs, and I just felt on my back, and she goes, and I just went, and she cracked her hip. Not just cracked it, I mean, like she had a crack in her hip bone. So that was the next thing. Then all of a sudden it went a bit quiet for ages. Nothing really happened. And then I bought her a ring. It wasn't a particularly expensive ring. It was just a gift. It wasn't a proposal ring or anything like that. It was just a cheap ring, just as a gift. And went to work, came back, walked into the house, and the ring was on the rug in our living room on the floor. And I picked it up, and I was like, I know it's a cheap ring, but like, if you don't want to wear it, just put it away or bin it, whatever. So I put it on the kitchen side. Didn't think anything of it. Next day, come downstairs from bed, the ring's on the carpet, rug again. So I called up to her, and I was like, look, if you don't want the ring, if you don't want to put it on your finger or whatever, I said, just put it in your jewellery box or something, just keep it away. I said, you don't need to leave it on the floor, because if one of the kids pick it up or something and swallow it, So I'd rather just put it away. And she's like, what are you on about? I was like, the ring was on the floor. She was like, well, it was on the kitchen side last night. I was like, I know, because I put it there. She was like, where did you find it? I went, on the rug again. She was like, I haven't seen that ring for ages. So I couldn't find it, but I didn't want to say anything. So I was like, oh, for God's sake. So this time I put the ring in the drawer.
Yeah.
Closed the drawer, went to work, come back, ring's on the rug again. So now I'm like,
This is in the days before like cameras and stuff, isn't it? Ring cameras.
yeah, way before all that. Yeah. I mean, we barely had touch phones. I had the first Vodafone touch phone at the time.
Yeah.
That was old school.
Yeah.
So yeah, the ring was there again. But Tanya, my ex, was actually in the house at the time.
Yeah.
So I was like, did you not notice it moving or drawer open or anything? She's like, no. So I'm like, something's not right here.
Mm.
So I decided to put it to the test. So I picked the ring up, and when you go into the kitchen, there's a door, but then as you open the door, behind the door is a little recess, only really small recess. I was like, right, I'm going to put this ring in that recess, and I'm going to shut the back door, because initially we had a cat at the time, and I thought, is the cat getting it? And then taking it to the carpet to mess about with it or something. Again, trying to reason everything.
Yeah.
It's right, cat's going out. Let's put the cat in the back garden. We shut the back door. We lock the back door. We shut the cat flat. Can't get in. Just for an hour or two, just while we nip out. I'm going to put the ring in this recess behind the kitchen door. We're going to shut the kitchen door.
Yeah.
We're all going out. We're going to shut the front door, lock it. Job done. So I did all that. We all walked out. We got in the car. And my ex says, oh, we've left Kira's blanket. So I was like, do you want me to go and get it? She's like, no, I'll run in. So I could see in her side mirror, watching her go to the house. She opened the door, she stepped in, stepped straight back out, legged it to the car, and she was like, you need to come in the house. And I was like, what, what's up? So she steps in the house, steps straight back out, she goes, you need to come in the house. So I was like, okay. So I walked to the house, opened the front door, kitchen door's open, kitchen lights on, and the ring's in the middle of the rug again. And the thing is, even on the rug, it's always the exact same spot.
How weird.
And I remember walking in, seeing the ring on the floor, and just the blood draining from my legs.
Yeah.
Just like your legs just turned to jelly. And I just thought, we've got to get out of here. It's got to be the house, because we've not really had this extreme stuff happening since before we lived here.
Where was the house?
Druid Street, Hinkley.
Okay.
So then for a little while we moved in with my ex's parents, just until we found somewhere else to go, because I was like, can't be in there. So we stayed at their house, and again, I remember always walking across their landing and thinking, there's something in their loft. There is. Every time I'd walk across that landing, I can feel it. And I know it's weird, I keep saying that, I can feel stuff, it's just really weird, but I could always tell there was something in that house as well. Again, try not to react to it, I try to ignore it all the time, but I remember coming home from work one day as well, and I walked in and I was like, oh my God, the smell of gas in this house is horrendous. So I walked into the kitchen, and all on the hob, all of the gas knobs had been turned on full whack. But I'd come back quite late from work, so I think I was working a late shift, it must have been about midnight. And all the gas was on full whack. I was like, I'm telling you now, if someone would have sparked a match, that kitchen would have gone boom. So I mentioned it to my ex's parents, said, look, just, because I'm thinking maybe someone's done it and forgot it or something. I said, like, just be careful with the hob. And they were like, well, we haven't even used the hob for like 2 days, what are you on about? Well, someone's turned all of your gas hob knobs.
That's dodgy.
Hob knobs.
That's dodgy though, isn't it?
All of the gas dial was on full whack.
Because that would just look like an accident, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Someone's trying to get rid of you, but make it look like an accident.
Yeah, it was weird. So then we moved into Sunnydale Crescent, and then I'm trying to remember what happened to that. I remember coming home from work one day, walking in, and a child's voice saying, "Oh, what did it say?" I'm sure it said something like "Daddy." So I'm like, Caitlin's only like a few weeks old. She's not talking. My stepdaughter at the time wasn't there. And I thought, oh, maybe it's just next door's kid, or maybe they've got a kid round or something, because it was quite an elderly community where we were living. I thought, oh, maybe someone's just got a kid round. So I walked into the living room, and my ex's mate was sat on the sofa. And just the look on her face, I was like, did you hear that? She was like, yeah. I was like, is it not next door? She went, no. That came from upstairs. I heard it as soon as you walked in. You'd shut the door. Summit said daddy at the top of the stairs. And I was like, oh, it's not just me then. Which is weird, because that's the first time I've ever heard anything. Because obviously, like you say, some people can talk to them or hear voices and stuff. I've never had that. That's the first time I've heard that. Then we had doors locking on their own. So I went out, stepped out the back to the back garden, and the door shut, the handle lifted, and the key locked from the inside. And I was on my own. So I was like, oh, I can't get in. Because the front door's one of those on the Yale lock.
I'm not being funny. I wouldn't want to get in if I'd just see that.
But
You literally saw the handle go up and it
the
locked
handle
itself.
lifted up. You know when you have to sort of lift it up to turn the key? Lifted up, key turned. And I was like... But by this point, I'd just got used to it. I know that sounds really mental because of the stuff that's going on. But when it'd been happening for so long, I was just like... It's a bit like that other bloke. It's like, oh, it's just the dogs. Like, you get used to it after a while. You're just like, for God's sake, oh, come on.
I'm going to show you their Facebook page when we finish the pod.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Because
we can get in touch with them to do.
I'll get in touch with him. Yeah, I've got his mobile number. And
we'll have to try that.
Like I say, he's one of the customers.
But we had a guy come out. So, originally, obviously, when all this was happening at Sunnydale Crescent, I thought, right, I've got nothing else left to try. Because I spoke to my dad. He was just like, he was smoking filthy fags. Until I went to his work. And then he said, well, have you got anything old in the house? I was like, well, I've got a box of old coins that my stepmom's brother had given me, so my stepuncle. I said, but obviously he's passed away now, so I'm not going to get rid of them. He gave them to me. But they are really like sort of 1910 coins and stuff like that, 1899 old coins. And I mean like a proper chest full of them. So that's the only thing I've got as far as I'm aware. But obviously these days everything's recycled, so they always say that demons or whatever, or entities cling on to certain objects, for example, like a doll. So it could latch onto anything, and if everything gets recycled, like a ring, it could just latch onto that and it gets passed around. It could be anything. So my dad took the box of coins and he was like, oh, I've had nothing happening. I was like, no, because it's all happening at mine still. So I ended up contacting a church, because I thought, I'm not a particularly religious person, as you know, but I was like, I'll try anything right now. So I'm getting sick of it. The church wanted paying to come out. I was like, I haven't got any money. Like back then, I was quite poor. I was like, I can't afford to pay you anything. And they said, well, if you're not going to pay us to come out, we can't help you. I was like, so you're telling me if this is like a demon or something, you're happy for me to suffer because I won't pay you? That's when I lost all trust in religion. And then I can't remember how I came across it. I can't remember if someone contacted me or if I saw something on Facebook. But I couldn't even tell you the name of it anymore. But I know the guy who ran it was called Dom. That's all I remember is his name, Dom. Lovely bloke. And he contacted me and said, look, I'll be happy to come around, have a chat. And I was like, well, it depends what it costs, because in church want to charge me. I'm assuming you want some money. He's like, no, it's all completely free of charge. He said, the only thing I will ask is that kids aren't present, because some things can escalate, and you have a cup of tea ready. And I was like, sold. So he rocks up at 7 o'clock at night with a team of people. So there's him, I think it was his wife, a cameraman, and then another lady that basically just supported the team really more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, like, bloody hell, there's a whole bloody team
It's
coming in
like
here.
Most Haunted.
Well, I think that's what he was trying to recreate, because the cameraman that was there basically made us do interviews and stuff like that. So he did have a YouTube channel, but I can't seem to find it. But the last time I checked on the video years ago, like the interview with me and my ex had like 30, 40,000 views on it. And even he said, like, it's the highest viewed video we've ever done, which is weird because I don't know why. The other ones that he had were pretty similar. And yeah, so he was with us until 7 o'clock the next morning.
Wow.
They were around all night. And when I say escalate, I'm
It kicked
talking wardrobes were vibrating, doors were slamming shut, things were rattling everywhere, rooms would go from boiling hot to freezing cold. And in the end, he said, you might have to get out in a minute because this is getting worse. So we all had to sit around the table at one point, quite early on, in pretty much pitch black. And we're all linked arms. And there's no like prayers or anything like that. It's like so I suppose it's like a seance if you like, but there was no candles lit or anything like that. It was really sort of laid back, which was my kind of style. I don't do this whole religious thing.
Yeah.
So we're all sort of linked. And he's sitting there saying, you know, if there's anyone there, please respond. And he's got that little voice thing.
Yeah.
Now, again, me being skeptical, he said, right, I'm going to say a few things, ask a few questions, I'm going to record it, and we'll see if anything comes back. And in my head, I'm thinking, these are pre-recorded.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure a voice is going to come over and be like, you need to get out now, or something.
Yeah.
So I thought, I ain't falling for that. So he starts recording it. He's like, just ask everyone to be quiet. He starts recording. He's like, right, if there's anything there, can you please make yourself known? And in the back, like, I'm sat sort of a little bit away, and I just went, or like that, just so that I know that this is like real recording.
Yeah.
And you can see him like look at me because I coughed, and he's like, ah. So I'm sitting there waiting, and then he'll press stop, play it back, and you'll hear him say, "Is anyone there?" And you'll hear me go, coughing. And then it said something. I can't remember exactly what it was. But then he said, "What do you want? You know, why are you bothering these people? You need to leave, move on, or if you're not that kind of entity, get out." Basically. Again, throughout the whole every recording he's doing, I'm deliberately trying to make some sort of noise so that I know it's not pre-recorded. The worst one was when he played it back. It said quite clearly in a rather deep voice, which freaked me out a little bit, "They're going to die tonight." And that's when he looked at me and he was like, "You might have to step outside the house for a minute because this might escalate." And yeah, lights were going on and off everywhere, and I'm stood out in the street looking up at the house with my ex next to me and the camera guy next to me. No, sorry, not the camera guy. The camera guy was inside. The other, I think it was the lady actually, the one that was just supporting the team. She came out and stood with me, and you can see them all in the living room.
Yeah.
Because there's only
Stuff's
three others,
happening around the house,
and all the bedroom lights are flickering on and off, all sorts. And I'm like, what is going on? So apparently, it turns out that it was attached to me.
Right.
He reckons it's because of Monk's Kirby. There's a graveyard down there that I used to go to, and he reckons it latched onto me from there. I'm not convinced, because I said to him, this has been happening since I was 6. I didn't know Monk's Kirby existed.
Yeah.
But to be fair, since then, not much has happened.
So did he do something to get rid of the entity, or detach it, or,
So he did
what happened then?
He did the whole Lord's Prayer thing over and over and over again. But I'm not exactly sure what he did, because he'd go in the room on his own, and then you could hear him saying, "You need to leave," or whatever. But I don't know if it was burning sage or whatever. I don't know what he was doing, but you could hear him saying, "You need to leave this place. You're not welcome here. This isn't your home. Rah rah rah. Leave this family alone." But again, at the same time, I was a bit like, "This is mental," and then simultaneously feeling like I feel like an idiot. Like this is the stuff you see on TV, and it just feels really cheesy. but it was terrifying. But I've got to admit, after that, nothing really happened.
Mm.
I've always still felt something's there. I know for a fact he hasn't got rid of it, but I feel like because I'm not particularly intimidated by it, it can't feed off of it, if that makes sense. They say
Yeah.
it feeds off fear, don't it, or something.
Well, maybe the thing that was there from when you were little has always been there, but this other one latched on, and
Look.
he got
Maybe.
rid, he
And
got
it got
rid of
worse.
that.
Maybe,
Yeah.
yeah. Because I can still feel like something's watching me all the time. But I mean, even the house I live in now, I was there when we first bought it, and we were trying to transition over from the rental to living in this.
Yeah.
I had to go over and skim a couple of ceilings. And I remember being on the landing skimming, and it's funny because my wife and my mother-in-law said, "Oh, have you seen anything in this house?" Because they said they obviously know that
Yeah. The
I
story.
get a vibe
Yeah.
and stuff, and I can feel something in there or something. Because have you had any vibes? And I was like, yeah. Weirdly, I could have swore there was something at the bottom of the stairs, not at the stairs, but you know when you walk into my front door, you got my living room to the right,
Yeah.
you got that little bit of a wall.
Yeah.
There was something there, and I said, I can't see it, but I'm
But I
pretty
know it
sure
was
it's a
there.
kid. It's a little kid
Mm.
with dark hair. But I can't see it, which is so weird because I can describe it.
Yeah. Same kid that said daddy.
Maybe.
Maybe that really nasty one was picking on the kid spirit that was following you around as well.
Hmm? Maybe. I've got loads of stories, man. I could be here all night. When I lived with my sister, oh my gosh, to be fair, my sister will probably cack herself about this as well. When me and my ex split up, the time before, I'd moved in with my sister,
Mm.
and she had a loft conversion into a sort of a bedroom. And she goes, yeah, you can go into the bedroom up there, that's fine, you can just stay there for as long as you need. I was like, thank you. Within the first night, I'm like, I know I'm not alone up here. There's an old lady up here. I know there is. Can't see her, but I know it's an old lady again.
How?
I don't know. And I've always said this to my sister. I don't know. I can't see her, but I know what she looks like. It's so weird.
That is weird.
So, obviously, I've
I
told
don't
her.
know if I want to do a ghost hunt with you now.
I'm well up for it.
I
Mate.
think something's going to
I'm
happen.
well up for it. But yeah, so I was staying at my sister's, and she says, look, I haven't got a problem with you staying here as long as you want. The minute anything freaky starts happening, I'm not going to be able to cope with it.
Yeah.
So I was like, you'll be fine. Like, don't worry about that, it's fine.
Yeah.
Thinking, I know what's thinking of. But
Yeah.
she's never had anything happen. So I think it's like second or third night I've been there. I go up to bed, go to sleep, come downstairs. My sister's already downstairs, and I had to get up quite early for work at the time. I'm like, what are you doing down here? She's like, I've had to sleep downstairs. Like, with that look of, I've had to sleep downstairs because of me. And I was like, why have I had to sleep downstairs? She goes, well, I went to bed, as I always do every night, with my phone, took my glasses off, and my bedside table, got a little lamp on it. I always put my phone down, take my glasses off, put my glasses on my phone, I go to sleep. She goes, but I wake up in the night to a, you probably won't be able to hear this, but noise.
Phone spinning round.
Her glasses are spinning on her phone. Just going round and round and round with nothing holding it. They're just spinning on her phone. And she goes, literally all I could do. And she goes, I didn't know what it was. Obviously, I turned my bedside lamp on. That's when I saw my glasses spinning on my phone. She goes, and all I did was swiped it across the floor and ran downstairs. And she goes, and I've been down here since. And she goes, that's only ever since you've been here. And I was like, well, I haven't done anything. I don't know what you want me to do.
Don't be bringing it in my house.
Oh no. To be fair, nothing's happened for a long time, to be fair. I'd say Amy's never had anything happen to her since she's been with me. I've never really had anything happening around the house. It's not been... like I say, I still get the whole vibe of being watched or something being there. I've had that for a long time. And I've always had a feeling like something inside is not... it shouldn't be there, but other than that, it's been pretty dead.
Have you never thought about talking to someone and getting them to see if there is something inside you that's not right?
I have. But just never seemed to get around to arranging it. It's weird because my sister spoke to a few different ones, like clairvoyant or whatever they are. They have no idea who she is. They have no idea who I am. Yeah, they all seem to know that I've got something following me. And they tell her that. I've never spoken to these people.
They go, it's your brother.
Yeah.
Someone following your brother.
Yeah. There's something following your brother or something like that. One of them said something's latched on to a very close family member of yours, but he's younger than you. It's like a brother or something. She's like, right, try not to give too much away. And she says he's really into like space and aliens and stuff. And she's like, yeah. And she goes, yeah, he needs to go and speak to a clairvoyant or something. He's got something quite unpleasant following him. I'm like, and this was literally what, 6 months ago?
Do you regret going to Monk's Kirby now?
No, not really. It was great.
Just ruined the whole rest of your life.
I said this earlier. These things don't really scare me anymore. I think because I've had so much happen. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and be like, if all your cupboard doors suddenly flicked open now, I'm going to be like, silly. I'd be like,
Well,
what the fuck?
I wouldn't be, trust me.
I'd be like, what is going on? I'd cack myself. But at the same time, it's quite an adrenaline rush. But I think it's worse because you can't see it. That's what freaks me out.
Yeah.
I think if I genuinely saw an apparition open the cupboard door, I'd be like, what an ass.
Yeah.
But because it's invisible,
Yeah.
that's
you feel
what
vulnerable.
Yeah, because you don't know where it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my joyous childhood.
We don't want my cupboards to be flinging open. Thank you very much. Like I say, I do think there's something in the house, but it's never caused any harm. It's never shown itself.
Sinister.
I think it's, it's friendly.
Which is fair enough.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see something. I think we should go down to your old workplace.
Yeah.
I'm well up for that.
If we go out with SAPs, they've seen things. Ambient Wood, which is the wood near Sutton Cheney by the Bosworth Battlefield. I don't know if you know that one. You can walk through. About 30 years ago, there was loads of people who were walking dogs at night said they heard sticks crunching like someone walking through the woods at the side of them, and they saw a ball of light bouncing through the woods.
Saw an orb.
Yes, but a really prominent, bright ball, not just a little thing, a big ball of light, massive ball of energy. And there was loads and loads of reportings of it, all people that didn't know each other, and it hit the news. And then it's not been seen for 30 years. And then a couple of years ago, loads of reportings of this orb bouncing down the thing have suddenly started resurfacing. So they've gone back and done a thing, and they've got film of that as well. So there is film of things going on. And there was something else as well. They put around King Richard's Well, which is in the middle of the site there. They put flagpoles up and this, that, and the other, and sort of set their camp up there. Went off and did a bit of filming, came back somewhere else, and all the flags had been draped over the well. There was nobody else on the site apart from them. So yeah, there's things like that I know of, and I believe these people, believe them totally. I mean, he's seen loads of stuff. He's seen loads of apparitions, seen loads of things, and he's like, sometimes we can't get it on camera, which is really irritating, but the whole group is like, no, we were all there. We all saw it.
The problem is as well, though, I think in this day and age, even the people that are really sceptical that like ghosts don't exist, nothing.
Yeah.
Even if you showed them a video, they wouldn't believe it because video and film and everything is so easily edited now. You could make it, there's a ghost there, when actually there was nothing there at all.
Yeah.
It's getting harder and harder and harder to prove.
Yeah.
But I am one of those people that I need to see it to believe it.
Yeah.
Like, even if people come to me with a story about ghosts or whatever, I always seem I'm a bit sceptical about it.
But even if you see it, it could be your mind just playing tricks on you, couldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Because you'd be surprised how powerful the brain is.
Yeah. Well, you get a virus. I mean, I got tonsillitis. I get it about once every 10 years, really, really bad. And the virus just takes hold of my body, and I hallucinate and all sorts. And I've hallucinated all sorts of things, and genuinely thought there's a guy stood at the end of my bed with a rifle.
Bloody hell.
Talking to me.
That's mental.
Yeah.
But they also say carbon monoxide poisoning. So if your boiler's leaking carbon monoxide,
that can do the same.
That can do the same thing, give you hallucinations, or give you that vibe of, oh, something's here, something's not right, or
Yeah.
Apparently, it's carbon monoxide poisoning.
Oh God.
Early stages
Get the
of it.
boiler checked. If you think you got ghosts,
Literally,
get the boiler checked.
there's a cause I used to watch a lot of TEDx talks. I used
Yeah.
to watch loads of them, and one of them was this woman on the stage talking about ghosts and afterlife and that sort of
Yeah.
thing. And she turned around and she goes, "Right, we've done a test on this, and we spoke to I can't remember exact numbers, so don't rely on the numbers from me, but it was something like we've tested 20 people." Whether they believe in ghosts, and they've all said, "Yeah, we've got stuff happening." We've specifically looked for these people that have got stuff happening in their house,
Yeah.
and we've gone to every single one of these houses. It might have been 40, I think, 40 people. We've gone to every single one of these houses, and we've checked their boiler, and every single boiler had a carbon monoxide leak on it. And when they fixed it, it all disappeared.
How weird.
Really strange, isn't it? Because initially that's what I started. Because when I watched that video, I was like, maybe that was the problem. There was something up with the boiler. But to go to like 3 different houses
Yeah.
and every single boiler has a carbon monoxide leak. But you'd always have a carbon monoxide detector now anyway, because you're supposed to have
Yeah.
them.
Imagine you moved in somewhere that got storage heaters and it still happened.
Yeah, actually, thinking about it, when I lived in Stony Stanton, I never had an issue there. And that was storage heaters. That was such a cold house. But yeah, that was... Never had anything there. I still had the same weird vibe, but again, I've had that all my life. Like, something's following me, but never had anything happen. And I lived there on my own.
That's strange.
Maybe I was just carbon monoxide poisoned my entire life.
Maybe it was following your ex.
Do you know what? A lot of people have said this. They didn't, whatever it was that was following me, didn't like me being with my ex. So that was the whole pulling me out of bed to get away from her, like pulling me away from her. But then at the same time, I'm like, but I don't understand A, who would do that, and B,
Your mum.
yeah, see, everybody said that, my mum. But I can't see my mum doing that because she knows that that would literally, at the time, obviously, back then, would terrify me.
And your mum wouldn't say they're going to die tonight.
No, that was something else. But again, I have to take everything with a big pinch of salt because this was another person who's recording everything on a big camera. I'm thinking, is he twisting something here and making
But
it?
turning all the gas on it,
Yeah, that was mental.
You,
That freaked me out.
yeah, that's weird.
That was weird. And throwing stuff across the bloody room and
Yeah.
toilet flushing, light turning off. That sort of stuff is a bit like, I'm struggling to explain that.
That is major stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. But the whole pulling out of bed.
Door handle lifting up and locking.
Yeah, that was freaky.
That's.
To be fair, I look back now and I just think that is really freaky.
I don't think I'd have gone
time,
back in the house after that.
At the time, I was just like, oh, for God's sake.
No, I'd have been like, I'm not going in there. Something's going to lock me in there and kill me.
Oh, I've been locked in. One of my old mates, Josh, he came round. To be fair, this was at Druid Street. He came round and I don't remember how it worked. So he came through the front door. I came in through the back door. And then we sat in the kitchen talking. No one came and went. And then at the end of the night, he went to leave, and all the doors were locked. So he was like, well, how do I get out? And I was like, I don't know where the keys are. I haven't locked it. There was no key in the door.
How weird.
I don't even know how it locked. Because there was no key in it. And it was unlocked because he walked in. Because you know what I'm like. I just walk in.
Mm.
So yeah, front and back door locked. So I was like, well...
So bizarre,
I
that
need
is.
to find the key. So yeah, something. And again, Max weren't there at the time, I don't think. Sure. But a lot of people have said, oh, maybe it's your mum, she didn't like you being with your ex and stuff like that. Which, to be fair, judging by what a lot of people have said, yeah, she wouldn't have been happy about it, I'll be honest. It would not have got along. But
like I say, nothing's ever been done to Amy.
No.
And now nothing's done to you.
No, nothing. I think the only thing I probably have had is just mischievous stuff happen. Like stuff's moved, or you can't find your remote. Yeah. And you look everywhere. And you look, and then you sit back down and you're like, okay, that wasn't there a minute ago. On the arm of the chair. Do you know what I mean? Just stupid stuff like that. I've had plenty of that happen, but I don't even bat an eyelid at that. It's just nothing but
Yeah.
it's just mischievous, and it's just trying to get your attention, and you're just like, whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know. If it was my mum, I'd like to think she wouldn't try and terrify me.
Do you know what I do? If ever I get really spooked and I think something's watching me or following me like around the house or whatever, I just say no night to everyone. I say no night, everybody. Sleep tight. Whoever's watching, I hope you're at peace. You're welcome.
That's on the basis that it's something good.
You're welcome here. You're not causing trouble.
That's the worst thing you could say.
But yeah.
You're not welcome here. That's the worst thing.
But it's never done any harm. It's never
but
done
one day
anything.
you're going to let in something that doesn't want. You don't want it, and you're going to be like, "Good night, everybody. You're welcome to stay here," and it's going to be like, "Ha, cha-ching."
Yeah.
I'm going to come home. I'm going to come here one day, and you're going to be sitting there drooling into the carpet or floating off the ceiling. Nice
things are welcome to stay here. If it's a little girl and she's a bit of a scallywag and she's my girl, then she's. A ghost just broke your microphone.
Top quality equipment there.
Yeah, Amazon special.
I'm just trying to move this a little bit.
We've done nearly an hour, so.
Yeah, I think it's time to call it a day, don't you?
Yeah.
Time to go to sleep.
Turn some lights on.
Time to go to sleep.
His knob's lit up again. Yeah.
But yeah.
Well,
that's all pretty much been
thanks
an episode about me.
Thanks for the stories.
We need to go on a ghost walk next.
Yeah.
Maybe not the next episode, but
I think
we need to arrange it. Speak to, was it Saps?
Saps, yeah.
We'll speak to them. I'll speak to the lady who's going to come and do the recording for us.
Yeah. I think we need a few people to comment and say, yes, go on a goat hunt. Goat
hunt.
That's something else entirely.
Oh god.
Yeah, comment if you think we should go on a ghost hunt and film it.
Yeah, give us a vote up if you think we should go.
Yeah,
and a vote down if you think we shouldn't go.
Yeah. We're not going to Monk's Kirby.
Oh, we gotta go. We are.
No.
We are.
No.
We are. I'll take it.
If that bloke's right, no way I'm going there.
I'll take it.
Joel will come and film it, won't he?
Yeah. I've already told him about Monk's Kirby. He's for it.
No, I'm not going there. Fuck that. No. But Saps, we'll go for something with him.
Sounds good to me.
Right. See you next week.